Good morning. I'm a couple of minutes late this morning. Sorry about that. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm going to try something new today, as I'm still figuring out how this works. That's not going to work. Good morning. We're going to get this angle thing right. Yes. Maybe there, maybe there, maybe there. There's the flowers. It's almost time for some new flowers. That is, Tamala Mann. Lord, we are waiting. Let's see if I can put, ooh. Uh-oh. I'm learning. Nope. So how about I just hold it today? And I'm waiting just a little bit. One, so that you all can see that every week I'm trying to do this thing. But I'm finally realizing, thank you to all of my friends and my church family that have provided constructive feedback. I love y'all and appreciate y'all. Because the only way we can get better is if we're willing to have constructive feedback from those that we know love us and want nothing but the best for us and are looking for us to do good things in the world. Lord, we are waiting. Lord, we are waiting. I played that song today. Hey, this is Pastor Lisette of Restoration Fellowship. I know there's probably a lot going on this morning as I get myself ready, and I was a little late this morning, so please forgive me. Really working on this. Yes, really working on this angle thing. I think I finally got it. I appreciate your presence and appreciate you watching. I appreciate you sharing the Talk About It Tuesday videos. Each week, I learn a little bit more. And so next week, I plan to have a tripod and have myself together. But today, I played Tamala Mann, Lord, we are waiting. Good morning, Evangelist Farmer, Cheesy. And I just wanted to talk about waiting. How many of you like waiting? If you're anything like me, you probably are not as excited about waiting. Waiting means that you are in between what is and what will be. And sometimes waiting is filled with anticipation, but it can also be filled with frustration and fear and angst. But it could also create in us a quiet sense of confidence and of knowing that God is with us. But oftentimes in this generation that we live in, what used to be called the microwave generation, but I think nowadays when everybody has pretty much access to everything at our fingertips, that waiting seems like a foreign concept and definitely puts us out of our way. We don't want to wait for an app to download on our phone. We don't want to wait for our emails to load. We don't want to wait to see how people respond to our Facebook post or our Instagram picture. We hate waiting. Because in the waiting, sometimes we're forced to deal with some things, or we are being asked or invited to do some deeper reflection that some of us may not be ready to do. And I think that as we walk with God, as we work this thing out, work out our soul salvation, as the scriptures say, that waiting becomes an integral part of our maturity. Waiting becomes an integral part of our maturity. In fact, I believe that it is in the waiting where God is doing God's best to refine our faith. Now, I'm using these big words, not big words, but these big concepts and ideas because I know my question is, and you may have the same question, well, Pastor Lisette, what am I supposed to do while I wait? What exactly is supposed to be happening? Am I just supposed to sit still? Am I supposed to be praying? Am I supposed to just stop my whole life? No, I don't think that that's the answer. Though now let me say, I don't necessarily have the answer, but what I believe and what I offer, I suggest to you today is that in waiting for God to respond to our prayers, in waiting for the hard work that you've done to pay off, in waiting for all of the planning and all of the research and all of your discipline to come to fruition, in that waiting, that there are some things that you can do and that we can do that are helpful and not harmful. Because how many of us know we can cope positively, but we can also cope negatively. And sometimes negative coping can put us in some pretty not so good or pretty sticky situations. So one of the things I do to positively cope when waiting is really to read. I try to read things that remind me that God is at work. I read things that encourage me that others who are on the path that I'm on, or others who have been successful in the things that I'm trying to do, that they had to wait. I try to gain a little wisdom from them. So try reading a blog post, try finding a book that you like, try reading the story of someone's life. Right now, I am reading The Third Reconstruction. If you hold on a second, I'll grab it. The Third Reconstruction by William Barber. This is the book. I am reading that book right now. And it is the story of his life as a minister, his life as a justice worker. But it helps me. It has helped me. It is helping me to realize that in doing justice work, that waiting is a part of that. The other thing that you can do while you wait is listen to some good music. I had Tamala Mann on this morning, and the name of that track is Lord, We Are Waiting. And the reality is that sometimes we just have to be reminded of God's faithfulness and God's goodness, even as we wait for God to show up and answer our prayers, even as we wait to see what's going to happen, even as we wait to preach that sermon or go to that interview, or wait to hear back from a school because we've applied to a school, or we wait to hear back from that officer at the bank because we've applied for a loan, or we've tried to buy a house. Whatever it is that we're trying to endeavor, we are waiting, right? And so read a book is the first thing I said. The second thing I suggest is that you listen to some music, right? And the third thing I suggest is get in community that supports you. So oftentimes when we start waiting for God to show up, when we start waiting for the flower to blossom because we have planted the seed and we have watered it, and we are simply waiting for life to take its course. Good morning, Art. We are simply waiting for God to do whatever God is going to do, or for just time to pass, right? Like sometimes it's not always about God, that sometimes the waiting is simply about realizing that some things simply take time. And so the last thing I would say in the waiting that has blessed me, and I hope it blesses you, is that find you some community. Find you some good, I have some good sister friends I hang out with. I have some wonderful church folks that encourage me. I have some great colleagues that I can commiserate with and celebrate with. And I hope that you have the same. And so realize that God may be calling you to do something. And that in the midst of that call, you, I'm fairly certain, are going to have to wait for something. But in the waiting, I believe that through your frustration, through your fear, through the pain, through the unknown, through the anxiety, even, I will say it plainly, through feelings of depression, that God is faithful. Isaiah 40:13 says, wait on the Lord and be, no, that's Psalms 27:4. Isaiah 40 says, they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings like eagles. They shall walk and not be weary. They shall run and not be faint. So realize that even in the waiting, God is encouraging your heart. And Psalms 27 says, wait on the Lord and be of good courage. I know waiting is hard. I hate waiting. Sometimes I hate waiting for my food to warm up in the microwave, let alone waiting to see God answer prayers, or waiting to see the work come to fruition, knowing that God is doing a good thing because I have prayed and I have prepared and I have put into practice all that I've learned and all that I know. And so I encourage you today to talk about it. Talk about what it means to wait. What it means to wait for God. What it means to wait as you are hoping that God answers your prayers, as God is leading you to do amazing things in the world. Just remember that in the waiting, God is present. And God may not show up the way you want God to show up, but it is in the waiting where even our image and our view of God changes. It is in the waiting where we learn something new about ourselves. It is in the waiting where we see something different about the people around us. It is in the waiting where we realize that we are stronger than we think, where we realize that we can do more than we ever thought or imagined. It is in that waiting. And so I hope that as you go about your day today, it sounds like it's raining outside. I haven't checked, but even on this rainy Tuesday, that you think about what it means to wait, and maybe even consider that God is calling you to a season of waiting. And I do not ascribe a theology that says that God is punishing us or making us wait because God is a vengeful or a punitive God. I believe in a God who is looking out and loves us and looking out for our well-being, who wants to create in us men and women who are justice workers in the world. And so sometimes even in the waiting, we have to be refined. And so I hope that as you go throughout your day today, as you go throughout your week, and you wrestle with whatever it is that you're waiting for from God. All of us are waiting for something from God. And that as you are doing that this week, that you talk about it. Talk about what it means to wait, the frustrations of waiting, and dare I even say the joys of waiting. And remember that you can do 3 things. 1, you can read a good book. 2, you can listen to some grounding gospel music or other music that has positive messages. And 3, you can be in community. Don't isolate yourself. Know that there are people here who are waiting and wanting to support you, who see you and your gifts and your abilities, who support you 110%. And if you don't have any of those people, come on over to Restoration Fellowship. I'll be happy to be your pastor and to support you, and we will be happy to love you and be community and support for you even in the waiting. And so again, I am Pastor Lisette of Restoration Fellowship. I hope that you have a wonderful Tuesday, and remember to be of good courage even as you wait for the Lord. Join us for worship on Sunday at 3 p.m. We worship at a community center. That community center is called Diversity Richmond. It is at 1407 Sherwood Avenue. Enter at door 4 in the parking lot, and we will be in there. We have Bible study at 1:30, and then we do worship at 3 p.m. Join us on Thursdays at 8 p.m. for the call, where we have virtual community to listen and support and hold one another up in prayer. And so we hope that these ways that we are striving to connect with you, as we all strive to connect with God, would meet you where you are. Have a wonderful day. And remember to continue to press your way, to continue to read, to listen, and be in community as you wait for God to do what you have asked God to do. Have a great day.